Sound test. One, two, three. Hey to AJ. Yeah, I got to understand. I've got to explain to me what key actually refers to. Yeah, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one who has no idea what Danny Rick is going on about when he does it. Well, good evening, race fans, and a very warm welcome to you for this anti-penultimate race of our little Season 2 championship. This is the International Racing League. Of course, it is the second season and round 8, as I'm sure you've been able to tell in the title. We are going to Qatar for tonight's Grand Prix. You can probably hear the engines in the background already starting up from the road near my house, unfortunately. So apologies for that. My name is Webbo, here to bring you tonight's coverage. Some business to take care of, though, following a very, very busy day in the stewards last week. Adam Foran picked up 2 3-second post-race penalties for safety car infringements and for lack of racing room given with Spud. Moist has picked up a quali ban for the next race he attends, so that will be today. Looking for a last to first challenge for Moist. He may opt to do an installation lap, but we will not be seeing him qualify today. Could have actually been a race-ending unsafe move to the pits. The stewards did decree. Leon was given a 3-second penalty, Ricky Maru was given a 3-second penalty, and Diecta Ollie were all given 3-second penalties. So I have got some information on the actual finishing order from last race. That will then be it will be Moist and Ash first and second, as they were before, and then it's going to be Spud in third, Sticky in fourth, Leon in fifth, and Ricky Maru in sixth position. What does that mean for our championship, as I just organised the screen for a second, so that we've got everything we need on here and nothing else as we wait for the drivers just to get their setups on. Oh, well, the championship is then as follows. In the Drivers' Championship, Moist is well away with the lead and might be almost unassailable at this stage with 149 points to Adam Foran 65 and Leon 63. ARL has 54, Ollie has 52 and Adam K has 51. We have Sticky on us 48, Ricky Ramu 46. And Alpha Alex and Jaden joint 9th on 43 points. Couldn't be much tighter. 2nd to 10th position. Jay has 36 in 11th. Spud has 34 in 12th. Then Ash in 13th place on 30 points. Then a bit of a gap then out to Floyd and Marco on 18 and 15 points. Also on 15 is Atsu, joint 15th place. Then is Chuck Norris on 17th. Triple Bay and Trappy are joint 18th and joint 20th, Malmo and Wessie, who have not been able to attend a great deal of our laps so far. As usual, though, it is ARL out on the first time out of the pits, and he's the guy who we will follow for this really interesting racetrack. We're about to head into the third sector, which begins with a triple right-hand flat out sector. So fantastic set of corners, really fast and flowing circuit. I look forward to seeing the cars absolutely going for it tonight. Good evening to Schoolbus Russ, who is here to cheer on Floyd, who is also in the chat as Seaman, and AJ, who is in fact ARL, and ARL is looking bounce back tonight. It was unfortunate last week. Very different racetrack here, as you will see as we join ARL on board here. Very different racetrack to the Zandvoort circuit. A lot more racing room will be available to the drivers here as we head into fourth gear, turn 1. It's a long right-hander. It's quite open, though, as we get another fourth gear corner to the left this time. Just trying to then power out through turn 3. Turn 4 and 5 are almost 90-degree right-handers. Quite short corners. You've got to get those right and flow together, much like the right-handers in Mexico. Then one of the slowest corners on the track, all the way down into second gear before heading back uphill slightly to the more open fourth gear right-hand corner, which flows into one of those typical Tilkedrone circuits, sectors of fast-flowing corners. Another slower one, third gear this time, in the middle of the track before then heading towards that ferociously quick triple right-hander. Should be flat out for the first 2 corners. Sometimes you need a lift, especially early in a session, into the next one. That's it. Then we've got 2 to go. 1 left-hander, 1 right-hander before we will finish out the lap. Moist has done his retirement. That is his quali ban served, so he will start in last position unless anybody else has a major issue. ARL then, though, will set the first benchmark time, and it's a 1 minute 21.9, just under the 1 minute 22 mark. We've got Triple Bay and Ricky Maru on the circuit as well. We've got a Mercedes about to come through to start, I believe, their flying lap. Ricky Maru has a purple sector. Of course, we know to ignore that at the moment. And the car just nicely out of the way on the right-hand side of the circuit for Ricky. Final corner to go. Does feel like Bahrain, the last corner of the track, but we are definitely in the Losail International Circuit. Ricky Maru, this is looking pretty good at 121.2 for Ricky Maru, and that is the fastest lap, of course, out there right now. Where is Triple Bay? He's just about to cross the line now. 121.6 goes third fastest. We have Atsu in the Alpine as we wait for times from front runners such as Jaden and Leon to come. Atsu crosses the line, a 121.8, the almost the slowest of our run times so far. We've got Chuck Norris on track as well in the Mercedes, and I think that looks like a Haas about to finish their lap. That looks like it's going to be ARL coming into the pits. Just at the final corner sector. 2 corners to go for Chuck Norris. As you know, Chuck Norris doesn't turn into the corners turn for Norris. Out of the final corner then for him as he rides that exit curb nicely. What's it going to be? It's actually up into the 122s, a 122.4 for Chuck Norris. So some time to find on the racetrack for him. An invalid time for Marco in the Williams at the moment. Adam Foran, though, approaching his second sector. Ferrari just getting out of the way there on the right hand of the circuit. 54.1 for him. Welcome to everybody watching. If you haven't said hello yet and want to shout out, do mention, do give me your name, tell me who you're here to support, as Adam Foran gets a nasty tank slapper mid corner on the penultimate turn there. Held it nicely. And stretching for the line. DRS, of course, clicked on as we go towards the line. He's cutting across the racing line, goes third fastest to 121.853. Big gap though at the front. Ricky Maru with the fastest time on the first runs. Will Jaden, though, perhaps go any quicker? 26.6 his first sector as the exit of that left-hander came to greet him at quite a rapid pace. Obviously got on the throttle quite early. That was, oh wow, almost flat through the triple right-hander there. Exactly what you want to see, drivers daring themselves to keep the right foot planted. Big power slide in the final corner. Of course, that's going to hurt his lap time. Jaden then, with a third sector to improve, manages to get underneath the 122s anyway with a 121.626, and Alfa Romeo are on top at the moment despite that massive slide from the Alfa Romeo there of Jaden. Marco coming up to cross the line. He's going to have to start this lap again. I think he's going to be coming into the pits though, because the previous lap was invalid. We've got Floyd Pink on track. I know one of the viewers' favourites, Floyd Pink, as he enters the pits then before the final corner, which gets the drivers out of the way of each other. But it is a long pit lane. Here is Speedy Spud. Oh, a downshift into the triple right-hander there. Unfortunately, that didn't help him wrest control of the car. I think we may have ARL on an outlap about to start again. I don't want to give him too much by the way of screen time here. Wessie is next. My apologies for mispronouncing Wessie's name for the season so far, but it is absolutely Wessie. Powering up to the third sector, looking like just a fairly chill lap here. ARL's come out on the medium tyres and is only slightly slower than he's been before in the first sector. Could be that the softs are fading fast, as we've seen this weekend in Miami that actually having tyres you can lean on and be confident on is actually better than the initial bite on the soft tyres. Floyd tells me that Chuck has been ripping into Weasel all week for his name. So that's why. Well, now I want to call him Weasel. Is that going to be allowed? I think probably not. I think I'm going to get into trouble calling him Weasel. But you make me want to do that now, Floyd, and I'm going to blame you for that one. Rookie Maru then into turn one. Let's watch as the current poleman tries to defend that pole position. His chief rivals for that pole are the Aston Martin of Triple Bay, looking to try and enjoy himself at the front of the team here. A rare visit, as he's obviously with the Season 1 champion and leading championship points holder at the moment, Moist, but serving a quali ban, and Moist has no time to really get familiar with the track tonight. Ricky Maru is faster by a small portion through his first sector. So Ricky pushing, as Russ says, Floyd is a menace. Ricky Maru running hard. AJ saying just doing some testing on the medium tyre, I'm sure. Nearly 0.2 of a second though, Ricky faster through the second sector. So it looks like he's building on the solid lap he did before. A downshift through the right-hander again. This time it's finding him some speed. Jaden's gone faster, a 121.2, and it looks like Ricky Maru might have some challenge on his hands as he saved tyres for the final sector. Ricky Maru stretches to the line. This looks like it's going to be a good one. It is a good one. It's a faster by nearly 2.5 tenths, just over 2.5 tenths of a second than he's been before, and he reclaims that provisional pole mantle as Adam Foran goes into 4th position as well. We're still waiting for times from Adam Foran's teammate Leon and from Sticky. Sticky has put a purple middle sector in the lap, and that talks to me, or certainly indicates to me, that he's got some good downforce, but it deserted him there on the penultimate corner. Sticky putting all the pressure on himself now. No time set on this on those first 2 runs, and it's all about one-shot quali now for Sticky, and he's going to need to find a traffic-free run. He's bailed early, so he should be able to get himself out and maybe fuel up for 2 fast laps to the end of qualifying as Leon comes out of the final corner. Can he get a time? I think he'll get a valid time coming up now. A long stretch to the line though, and it is 4th place, and it's McLaren 4th and 5th, 121.695 for Leon. Fantastic stuff for him. We've got Floyd Pink about to cross the line, and as I say, as he's no, in fact it's one of the other red cars on the grid. So we'll ride with Floyd Pink though, because he is a fan favourite, even if he is a menace and calls people things like Weasel. It's not good. Down into the right hand corners we go then. Listen to the engine through this corner. He stayed in 7th for the traction advantage. Kind of a traction control situation for 7th gear. You downshift, you do unsettle the car, but you also get better apex turn in, so swings and roundabouts. Off to the line then for Floyd Pink. This one's valid. Where's it going to get him? P8 for Ferrari. So I'm sure the team will be hoping for a little bit more come qualifying for the final laps. Looks like we've got a driver in low fuel mode here, and then most everybody else is waiting to run their laps out. Is Chuck Norris actually pushing here? No, he's already drained that battery. We'll ride with the Williams of Marco though, who's got a quicker time than he's done earlier on. Russ says you've got this to, I'm assuming, to Floyd Pink. So if you know in the chat how many of the International Racing League drivers all work together, I'd love to know. And where do they all work that they can enjoy ribbing each other quite so mercilessly here. Marco, the rear end of that Williams, looking a little bit loose, but he's managed to get this one through. Ricky Maru, still the fastest driver though. ARL has gone into third position, and he won't thank me for missing his lap there. Marco, half a second faster, stays 10th, unfortunately, 122.806 with just Wessie behind him. Then we've got ARL, as I say, on track and getting into third place. So it looks like it's going to be a battle between Ricky, Jade and ARL tonight. They are all much of a muchness with their times, nearly just under 0.4 of a second. As Ben says, the majority of drivers here are Scottish. No comment on that one. I think I've got some Scottish heritage with my surname, so I can't possibly say anything about Scottish people. Sticky is starting his outlap. We're waiting for outlaps for the top two here with just under 4 minutes to go. We'll ride with Sticky though. We haven't ridden on an AlphaTauri yet tonight. As Ollie says, that Ben Edis. Yeah, it is Ben. It is indeed. Just turning the screw. I always forget everybody's pseudonyms here for their gamer tags and YouTube. That's Triple Bay is Ben. So a lot of drivers listening into this. I know they're all in a driver chat with each other as well. So how they have two different sets of audio input going on is quite beyond me. I can't drive in dead silence with just the engine reliably. So quite how they do it with people talking in their ear. And maybe two different people talking in each ear. Sticky, 54.1 in the second sector. Downshifting well before the apex this time. Adam Foran has retired from the session. I think, why is that triggering the yellow flag there? Or has he decided he can't go any quicker? I think that might be him triggering the yellow flag. So Sticky trying to get through. He's about to cross the line, is Sticky, and it is, oh, nice, up to P6 at 121.7, but with this fastest lap still to come. We've got Triple Bay on the track. We've also got Ricky Maru out there. Triple Bay is later in the lap, so his lap time will come through faster. Schoolbus Russ says he's got two streams going on right now. Wow, impressive. Is one of them one of our drivers' points of view, perhaps? Or are you watching two completely different races? Here goes Triple Bay then. Fourth position so far. I know he was absolutely gutted because he put in a great qualifying performance and then was wiped out lap one of Zandvoort. Oh, you can feel the rear of the car. You can feel the rear of the car letting go there for Triple. He's working hard. I won't say anything too mean on him, but there will be at least a 20-25 second gap between me saying something and it happening, or the other way around here. Triple Bay then down deep into the left-hander, powering back out again. Let's just check in on a Ricky Maru still on his outlap, doing a nice slow outlap actually is Ricky. Nice prep lap on the soft tyres. Triple Bay looking good now. It looks like the rear of the car a little bit more under control than it was earlier in the lap. We go towards that sector beam. How's it looking? It's 31 thousandths faster than he's been before through here, through the second sector, and that earns him a purple middle sector for Triple Bay. Ricky Maru has just started his flying lap. We'll stay with Triple Bay though, because he might be able to sneak himself up past ARL, who's also on an outlap. Here comes Triple Bay then in the Aston Martin, the lead Aston Martin, because his teammate is serving a quali ban. Triple Bay to the line, and it's good enough for second. What a final sector for Triple Bay. Absolutely astonishing final sector for Triple Bay, Ben, as Ricky Maru comes to set the time. That is actually slower from Ricky Maru this time through sector one, and he gets a little bit crossed up coming out of the hairpin. Is it possible Ricky has already hit the ceiling of his times? He's already hit the PB, and he's not going to find anything else. Well, he's going to do it. If he's going to do it, he's going to need a couple of final sectors here from the gods, because Triple Bay put in a hell of a final sector. I think Ricky Maru's time is gone and will not work. Here comes Jaden then, first sector time. 0.2 of a second up, Jaden. What about ARL? As he crosses his timing beam, he's slightly slower. We'll ride them with Jaden, who was 0.2 up in the first sector. That is enough for pole position if he can hang on to that advantage as all the retirements come in from the drivers no longer taking part, but we're still riding with Jaden. We're still waiting to see Jaden and ARL and their final laps. Also with Marco at the tail of the field. It's nearly half a second now with Jaden. Has he spent too much out of these tyres as the car just stays with him through that triple right-hander, through the penultimate corner, and he is absolutely on it here. Jaden, one more corner to go. We've seen drivers sliding through here. No such problems for Jaden. This looks like it's going to be pole position for Jaden, and a 1-2 for Alfa Romeo. There it is, a 1:20.600. What about ARL? No faster from, well, a little faster from him, but he still doesn't depose Triple Bay. It will be Jaden, Ricky Maru, Triple Bay and ARL, the first two rows of the track. What a lap, though, from Jaden, at 1:20.6. Fantastic work from him, and he will have that pole position view into the first corner here in our 8th round of a 10-round championship. Pretty sure Moist already has that championship sewn up. But he's going to start from the back as well. We're going to enjoy watching Moist coming through the field, one would hope. As Ollie says, good luck to everybody. And go Ricky for the win. Fantastic. Well, Jaden, though, did just beat Ricky Maru for that pole position at the end of the session. But it was a country mile in our league standards. 0.4 of a second, that pole position. I wonder, what Moist could have done out there with his quali ban. Ricky Maru in second, Triple Bay in third, and all Welsh second row, Triple Bay and ARL. Next up come the Brits, Leon and Sticky, and then an Irishman, Adam Foran. Atsu, a citizen of the world, and a Scot, Floyd Pink, in 9th position. Chuck Norris and Wessie, 10th and 11th, the Englishman. Then comes another Scot, Marco. Speedy Spud in 13th, and of course Moist with his quali ban at the tail of the field. What could have been with Ollie if he'd been with us? What could have been with Moist? But Jaden struck while the iron was absolutely hot. Fantastic work from him. I will keep you informed, because we usually take a short break to allow the drivers to get comfortable, organise themselves, and allow you guys watching to pick up a snack, get a drink, and get yourselves comfortable for the race. I'll let you know once we get confirmation of those times. While I'm waiting, though, I'll talk to you about the Constructors' Championship. It's a hell of a lot closer than the drivers right now. Aston Martin have 155 and are in the lead, of course, but McLaren have 128 points. Very close between those two teams. Then we have a big gap out to Alfa Romeo on 89 points, with just 4 behind Red Bull. 10 behind them on 75 are Haas in 5th place, and Williams have 68. Alpine 58, AlphaTauri 50, Mercedes 38. And it is sad times at Ferrari right now for 20 points total in 10th position. Just waiting to get the whole indication of our restart time, but honestly, fantastic work there by Jaden and by Ricky to get themselves up onto a front row lockout for the Alfa Romeo team. So normally we take a quick break. I'll let you know as soon as I know the race start time, but you've certainly got a couple of minutes now, if not more, to get yourselves organised, and don't be too long here, because we may get underway early. I will go quiet for a few minutes while we wait for the countdown for the race. But until then, let's get ourselves going and enjoy this race in just a minute's time. Get yourselves comfortable. We'll be in for a good one. Okay, if you can hear me, we'll be starting the formation lap on the hour. So 7 p.m. UK, or adjusted for your local time. Good evening, Jessica. As Floyd has had a held for review comment here with his use of a 3-letter epithet there for for Triple Bay. We're underway then for our formation lap. I hope you are all ready. I hope you've got your snacks and you're comfortable now, because it was a fairly short hold here. I think everybody keen to get onto the race build-up for Miami, as we're almost there, of course. Let's have a look at the tyre choices, shall we, on board with the drivers. It is, well, it's a bit of a mix. We've got soft tyres for Jaden, who wants to shoot out of the starting blocks here, and a split strategy for the front-running Alfa Romeos. Just Wessie down there in P11 on the soft tyres. Then it's just a big mixture between hard and medium tyres. Triple Bay will have a slight advantage over Ricky Maru and ARL around him, likewise with Leon and Sticky as well. Adam Foran might be able to move forward. And it's interesting, isn't it, to see the McLarens go medium and hard, but in reverse order, potentially, of their starting positions. As we've seen, though, earlier in the season, the McLaren team are not the most harmonious of racing teams. Their inter-driver on-track behaviour has not exactly been coordinated or strongly controlled by their engineers. So we'll be interested to see, as the different strategies come to play, whether we will find the two drivers on track together. A Kiki A for AJ there for ARL on the driver gamer tag. ARL still hasn't changed his gamer tag to match his YouTube, or vice versa. I have to say, AJ, that ARL is a really difficult gamer tag to read out as a commentator. So if you could pick something easier, that would be awesome. We've got Jaden on pole. We've got Ricky Maroon next to him, Triple Bay and ARL directly behind then. Triple Bay leading the way then for the championship leading Aston Martin team, with the intrigue of seeing Stroke Moist, who is starting at the back on hard tyres, and see how far and how deep into the race he can go before they run into the medium tyre pit window for all those hard starters. Will we see any safety cars? Unlikely, but it's possible, as the drivers will be impatient to get onto watching the Grand Prix, those who are lucky enough, of course, to be able to watch it live. We've got 29 laps for you in the night conditions in Qatar to start our round 8 of the championship. The lights are on, the revs are building, the excitement builds with it. And it's dropped the clutch and go. It looks like Ricky Maru with a nice initial bite off the corner, off the grid, but Jaden has managed to secure that position. The Alpine going dive bombing down the inside of Atsu, and that's a lovely overtake from Atsu. Great start for him as the McLaren start to weave their way through, but Atsu looks really good down the inside line there, and he's up to P6. ARL dropping down to 5th position as his hard tyres are difficult to start with, and Moist is already up 2 places, and Speedy Spud is moving through past Floyd Pink as well. Floyd Pink down in the order there on the inside line next to the Red Bull of Speedy Spud, and there comes Moist trying to get a nice clean view through the corner, but he's got drivers side by side right in front of him. Going for the inside line, though, against the Ferrari is Moist, the championship leader and Season 1 champion as well. And again, looking very lively. Jaden, though, away at the front and already 1 second into the lead as he makes the best use possible of those soft tyres. And Ricky Maru doing a bit of a Magnussen job here at the moment, it seems. Although he's certainly not running slowly. He's certainly pushing hard as he drifted wide there on the soft tyres. He's got Triple Bay on the mediums directly behind him, and he's got a bit of clear air to his teammate in front. I don't think he's trying to back the field up. Ricky will be gunning for the win here overall, but he doesn't want to let his teammate get too far away. And he'll also be sort of wondering whether his teammate ought to have kept him in DRS to help him bring those hard tyres up to temperature. I don't think either of these drivers, though, want to give an inch today. There's a win on the cards, and team orders go out of the window in those situations. The McLaren of Leon on hard tyres is looking a little bit more grippy at the moment than Triple Bay's medium Aston Martin. So that is looking like the man most likely to go for an overtake right now. Spud is in 10th. He's close behind Chuck Norris as well. The drivers have all spread out into very neat even gaps at this early stage of the race, and I apologise if you do get a kind of Star Wars-esque screen wipe effect coming down the track. It's just a peculiarity of Qatar on the camera angles, and I don't know quite what to do about it. It's just a limitation of our technology, and of course the sim platform that we choose to race on. It's lap 2 of 29. Jaden leads by 1.6 seconds already, and lap 2 isn't over from Ricky Maru, who has Triple Bay for company behind him. Leon, ARL, Atsu, just getting a little bit dropped by ARL now that the tyres start to warm up and he gets away. Speedy Spud gets a 5-second penalty for a collision with Moist, who has actually come into the pits. Moist potentially may have some damage on the car. Speedy Spud has a penalty, no less. No damage visible on the front of Speedy Spud's car. Moist, though, will just check out to see if Spud has an issue there with a wing change at all. A very, very early tyre change for Moist. He's going onto the medium tyre very early. Spud, though, with the penalty on the car. Moist, very unlucky and unscheduled stop. I apologise. We've missed the actual contact that resulted in that. And there you can see just a few places gained and lost up and down the order as Wessie is down in 14th place. And I think worried today about bigger issues than being called Weasel. I think he might be called Slow. Leon is in 4th position. ARL down into 5th at this time, but very close between them. And then up 2 for Atsu on that early start. Fantastic overtake into turn 1 for Atsu, that was. So drama at the early part here. I don't see Moist getting 26 laps out of these tyres. Do you? Out of a set of mediums. The mediums ran very long in Zandvoort last week, but they were helped by a safety car ramp up into temperature conditions, a short track, and a slightly less demanding circuit here than the demands of the Losail International Race Circuit in Qatar. It's a much longer lap as well. Of course, more of the lap spent punishing those tyres than in Zandvoort. It's lap 4, and Leon still one of the closest drivers to another. He's about to get DRS profit because Triple Bay has dropped back on the medium tyres, no less, from the back of Ricky Maru. In fact, Leon might fancy his chances into the middle sector here rather than waiting for an opportunity with the DRS. Leon, though, just crosses the white line. You could just see it on the camera angle. Crossed that white line on the apex, picked up a penalty, and that's going to hurt his race. He takes the inside line on the left-hander. It's a triple right to come, though, and he's a little bit offline here. Looking impatient is Leon in the McLaren, and has unfortunately picked up a penalty. Sticky has a penalty as well just behind him. The driver's tripping over those track limits very, very early. Looks like the Aston Martin Triple Bay running very low to the ground, sparking more than any of the other cars around him. And here is Leon's chance then now with the DRS open down the longest straight on the circuit. He'll peel to the inside. It's not being fought hard by Triple Bay, who doesn't fancy a double overtake by Atsu coming from behind as well at this stage. And Leon up to P3, but wearing that penalty at the moment as they come through. Atsu now looking like he might be able to be the next one to pass Triple Bay, who seemingly out-qualified himself from his race pace. What news of Moist? Well, he's down in 14th position, having fitted another new set of mediums, I think, in the hope that they will now get him through to the end of the race, or he picked up further damage. It's not going well for our championship leader, but his one ray of hope at the moment is that Adam Foran, his main championship rival at this stage, is only scoring a handful of points in 7th position. Really interesting that this seems to be the way with Moist, that his the other drivers who are winning are only winning 1 or 2 races each. Well, certainly he's the only multi-race winner so far in our championship this season, and no one else can put in the level of consistency of our Season 1 champion. Another McLaren of Adam Foran, this time running super wide out on the circuit, getting lost in that dirty air wake of the Haas. Atsu up to 5th position, and he's driving the wheels off this Alpine, as he runs to the inside line, then past Triple Bay. This should be candy from a baby with the DRS. Looks like maybe a move from ARL as well, using the DRS to good effect there in the DRS train. Triple Bay really struggling off the corner, and if this is what the medium tyres are like on the Aston Martin, Moist has got no chance here tonight. But maybe Triple Bay's car was just set up for qualifying, and he's now taking a lot of race pain. Adam Foran just picked up a penalty as well. That's both McLarens now wearing penalties on the car. Adam Foran hasn't been able to bring those medium tyres further up the grid than he'd hoped, as he tries to go around the outside now of Triple Bay, costing himself an opportunity and potentially opening a door to the Alpha Tauri, and that was super clumsy. You're never going to overtake in that corner, surely. Adam Foran goes for a move, and then he's right on the exit, and thank goodness we had ghosting on for that moment, because that looked really, really hairy. Ricky Maru has caught his teammate now. Those soft tyres after 5 laps are looking decidedly second best. He'll be looking for an opportunity to pit soon, as Moist has put the fastest lap in right now and is building the speed. Will we see a similar situation from these lead 2 right now, as here comes Ricky Maru then. He's got the DRS open, not again being defended hard by his teammate. It's too simple and straightforward. The tyre delta too much for Jaden to fight, and Ricky Maru now has taken a bit of slow start on those hard tyres naturally versus his teammate, but it's come to the good in just the start of lap 7. So Ricky Maru takes the lead, lap 7, turn 1. Well, it was done before turn 1 in actual fact, and now on the hard tyres, looking very good as long as we avoid a safety car until the halfway point of the race. We have 14 runners for you. We have Moist at the back of the grid after serving a quali ban, and just to explain that one, his entry into the pit lane under the safety car conditions in Zandvoort was he decided it far too late, crossed the pit lane entry white line, caused another driver to brake incredibly hard and dangerously into the pit lane, and he was given a qualifying ban for that infraction. Triple Bay, a 3-second time penalty. We're going to struggle to organise who's leading who by the end of this race. Looks like ARL is closing now on Leon and Atsu as well. Atsu looking good against Leon potentially here out of the final corner. ARL certainly made use of that DRS to pass in tandem with his rival earlier on, as we had our former leader Jaden and poleman into the pits. ARL looking good to overtake the Alpine this time, and is he going for another one? Here goes ARL down to the inside. That's 2 overtakes in one straight for ARL. beautiful stuff from him, but the next corner is a left-hander. They'll go side by side. Will enough racing room be left? He keeps two wheels on the racing circuit. He goes onto the inside line, and Leon had to give it up eventually, but he defended hard, and all credit to both drivers for surviving that one. McLaren didn't survive an earlier situation that looked quite frighteningly similar, but Leon managed to keep it on the black stuff through the corners this time, and ARL then into second place, some 5 seconds off the lead. Remember, Leon with a penalty, and another penalty now for Leon as he just runs out of racetrack on the outside of the corner, turn 6 or 7 there that time. So it's lap 8 of 29. Atsu looking good. It looks like Leon, though, has possibly had some problems with those tyres. Atsu now, he was overtaken by ARL, who used the ERS, I have to imagine, down the straight, but he also managed to use the DRS to pass the car in front of Atsu as well, which was Leon on the previous lap. So we've had our former race leader Jaden in, and he's back out again, and he's hoping to do 21 laps on the medium tyre and run this as a soft medium strategy. That is going to take some tyre saving, as here comes Atsu, and he's not able to get the power out of the final corner. He doesn't, I don't think, have the battery to spend that ARL had before, and Leon with the DRS managed to defend as well. Didn't quite manage to attack himself, Leon, but he managed to defend the move coming from Atsu that looked likely from the previous lap. Leon, though, isn't letting ARL get away with this one. ARL is catching Ricky Maru by 0.6 of a second. That lap, oh, Atsu, it's going wrong, and a spin out of the corner, and he's joined on the circuit in sympathy by the AlphaTauri, who may have been slightly distracted. The AlphaTauri of Sticky will be kicking himself for that one. He will absolutely be raging because he managed to park the car just next to a car who'd just spun, and it wasn't, I don't think, anything to do with Atsu's fault. He was well off the circuit, that Sticky, with his attention caught there, as through comes Jaden now on the new medium tyres, having just stopped. Leon is right behind ARL, who's losing ground a little bit here to Ricky at the front. It's lap 9 of 29. We have Ricky Maru leading ARL on the hard tyres from the start, and they'll be looking to see their progress as well. Just check in here as we watch the cars on screen. I'll just check in with the gap to leader. 20.0 seconds back to Jaden. That's the target that Ricky would need to be monitoring, but it's not always straightforward to do so. It can be quite a tricky thing to do, to monitor your rival who pits a lot earlier than you do. But hopefully for Ricky and ARL, their new medium tyres will be in a lot better shape come halfway point of the race, unless of course they decide to go for the softs with just 5 or 6 laps to run. Triple Bay picks up a penalty now. Let's have a little look at the penalties, because I don't think we're going to get any more pit stops for a little while yet. 6 seconds for Leon. That's really, really costly. He's right behind ARL, but at the moment it's keeping him on the podium. We've got Triple Bay with 6 seconds, Speedy Spud with 8, which will probably turn into 3 after his pit stop. 6 for, as I say, Triple Bay as Jaden passes Triple Bay. I think that's just done and dusted, so we won't be able to catch that one, as Marco is also closing on Floyd Pink now as well. And these two at the front, Leon here in 3rd position, having 6 seconds of penalties that won't certainly be stripped off before the end of the race. I don't think he'll be able to make that disappear after the race, as Wessie retires from the session now at DNF. And where is Wessie? He's in the pits, thankfully, for our racers here. Moist is still at the tail of the field as well. Moist has not been able to gain a great deal. I wonder if he's carrying some damage on the car, which would explain. I mean, he did set a fastest lap straight early into his strategy here, but I'm anticipating that Moist will need another pit stop like everybody else, but we'll get some soft tyres on at the end of the race. We have a caution period on the main straight. That's because Wessie's car has been released again after retirement, so for a corner or two that will still be a problem. Ricky Maru's lead, though, on lap 11 is 4.5 seconds. And his gap down to Jayden, who is going quicker right now, is looking to be, where are we? 18.1 seconds. So 2 seconds of that have been gained by Jayden, but he's got a long way to go for those tyres, and he's got to make a fair amount of overtakes. He's just got through past Adam Foran, it looks like, and he's now sandwiched between Adam Foran behind and Sticky in front, who just had that spinella. Well, not even a spinella. He just decided to go and check on his friend, I think, who had just done the spin at Soup. Jayden then. This will slow his progress, but of course each time he gets on the back of another car, he will be able to use the DRS, and that will make him faster than Ricky down the main straights. Adam Foran picked up a second penalty. Floyd Pink is just making a move. Let's catch that one as he moves past Chuck Norris. And then Adam Foran diving down the inside in defence of a move from Sticky and getting crossed up. Sticky with the inside line through the next corner will hold on into 8th place. Jayden has passed a pair of them, though, and now his sights are set on Marco, who is performing an awful lot better this race than in Zandvoort. It's certainly been working well for him. Down the inside goes Adam Foran, then on Sticky, and looks like that one's gonna I was gonna say that move's gonna stick. I shouldn't do things like that. Jayden has got through past Marco. That was very quick work from him. Marco on old hard tyres, Jayden on the new mediums, but he will take some pain later in his pace on the tyres if he's going to try and get those mediums to a finish. But he might be running medium soft potentially soft medium soft will be his strategy. Leon is still 0.6 of a second only away from ARL, who is 4.6 seconds away from Ricky Maru. We're watching Jayden, who was the pole man. Oh, Floyd Pink has had a problem and he's off the circuit. Floyd Pink looked to be about to T-bone other drivers for a moment there, and his tyres will not be behaving. I do apologise for catching that on stream for everybody that is here specifically for Floyd Pink, Leon and ARL racing hard again as Jayden moves past Chuck Norris, and he's now back to 4th position with a bit of a gap though to catch. 11.4 seconds to catch the podium at the moment, but of course they all need to pit, where in theory he does not need to pit again. Of course, we could get a safety car and everybody decide to pit later on. But we're entering that portion of the race now where the medium tyre window will certainly be open for the hard starters. And it's just a question of how much tyre they want left at the end of this stint and the next stint as to when and how soon they go on that medium tyre. But I would expect some of those hard starters to think about the medium by now, because the hard tyres are certainly no match for the mediums on a long stint, comparatively long stint, of course. We are talking 50% race here. It's lap 13 of 29, and Ricky Maru leads ARL and Leon on screen at this time. No pit stop coming from those two, but they are losing a little bit of time, not a lot, but a little bit of time to Ricky at the head of the field. It's basically Ricky versus Jayden. ARL may feature, and here comes Leon with the DRS and the 6 seconds of penalties on the car. So ARL lets him through. They don't fight this one particularly hard, because the more fighting they do, the less likely they are to finish on the podium with those Alfa Romeos, who still look the hot favourites despite the gap for Jayden. Now down to 9.9 seconds, who's gained over a second that lap on those new medium tyres. Surely now Leon and ARL start thinking about pitting and on this lap, because frankly Jayden is eating away at the gap. Yes, Jayden will have issues later on in the stint, unless he is an absolute Sergio Perez of a few years ago, tyre whisperer. But right now, they are losing ground to the car behind them, ironically enough. Down in the midfield, we've got Sticky fighting Floyd Pink now, putting the pressure on. Floyd Pink has run out of ERS deployment, or at least it's in the bottom 10% of his capacity. So, and Leon picks up a third penalty now, I believe. Let's just remind ourselves, that's a third penalty for Leon. that is almost confirmed that Jayden will easily get on the podium now. And Sticky is, well, he was 1/10 of a second away from Floyd Pink. Into the pits, though, comes, I think, Adam Foran it is, off the medium tyres. So he's going to go onto the hard tyres now. 13 laps have been enough for him on the mediums. Maybe I am a little bit early then in my prediction for the hard starters to come into the pits, as he's only managed to get 13 laps, while the car though is fat with fuel. So don't forget, the fuel effect on the tyres can buy you an extra lap or two of life in the second stint of a race while all the fuel has been burnt off. It is 0.6 of a second the gap between Leon and ARL. Well, we've got some great racing going on between Floyd Pink just ahead, Sticky on screen, and Marco just behind. I was just going to, I don't know if I finished my thought earlier, but Marco was way off the pace in Zandvoort, and he's obviously been working hard here at the Qatar circuit configuration. Obviously very different circuit demands. Marco right on the pace here in P8, so well done to him. We've got Sticky, though, hovering around that P7 mark. Still the battery flashes the light on the back of Floyd Pink's car. Excuse me. Oh dear. Excuse me for that. But it's lap 15. We're just over halfway point. Further back in the order, behind here, we've got Atsu in 9th after that little spin. We've got Moist picking up a time penalty. Very uncharacteristic of Moist. We've got the majority of the field now with time penalties. Is into the pits comes Sticky off the hard tyres, and so does Marco. What is happening with Moist? Is he just giving the rest of the championship an opportunity here to catch him up? As I say, Adam Foran was his nearest rival in the driver standings, but he's only 11th. So Ricky Maru will certainly take a much stronger look up, jump up the order, as he's in that first position right now. And he's looking to try and challenge Jayden to a finish. The gap, though, is dropping. Jayden now, he's caught up by a further second. He's now only 8 seconds behind ARL and Leon. So I really do expect pit stops now from Leon, Ricky Maru, ARL on this lap or the lap afterwards, as Jayden will have clear air in front of him and be able to control the race from the front when all three of those come into the pits. Chuck Norris is nearly 7 seconds behind. There goes Ricky Maru into the pits now in the head of the field, and in they come, the two cars together, neither car deciding that they would be better trying to operate an over or undercut. And Jayden, coming out of the final corner, I think will take the lead on his teammate. Yeah, his teammate's only just been serviced in the pits. So Jayden back into the lead, and his gap then to the three cars behind him will be all important for the second half of the race. Ricky Maru just comes out of the pits now. That's a sizable lead then for Ricky, as Floyd Pink yet to pit, but he runs off into second position, will it be? As he runs around the outside of Ricky Maru. He's not quite there, as the two Italian cars managed, two of the three Italian cars, I should say, two of the three Italian engined cars, because technically Alfa Romeo is not actually Italian as its team. Anyway, Jayden is in front by 9.3 seconds now. Ricky Maru with a job to do to catch his teammate, and he'll try and take big chunks of time out of his teammate very soon. Floyd Pink in third place, yet to pit. The last of the hard starting pitters here will be Floyd Pink, presumably the end of this lap, unless he wants to run and use the soft tyres at the end, and who would blame him, quite frankly. 9.1 seconds, that all-important lead for Jayden, with 12 laps to run, 12 and a half laps left to go for these cars. And we'll see if Ricky Maru can catch his teammate now, and especially towards the end of the stint. ARL is 4.3 seconds behind Floyd Pink. So, and Floyd finally then comes into the pits to get on a set of mediums. Softs definitely will not make the end of this race. So here comes ARL and Leon. ARL's extended his gap to Leon now, and has managed to shake him off the DRS zone. So the drivers now have quite a job in front of them to catch Jayden. Ricky perhaps in with a shout. Maybe ARL will not make it up to those drivers, but maybe their pace deltas will be very different in this final half of the race with a new set of tyres on. The car will handle differently, and it will all depend how the drivers have set up their cars as a compromise through qualifying and the race for that tyre wear. I'm going to drop down to 8th position because Chuck Norris is on the back of Sticky. Chuck Norris will already gain positions, presumably from these drivers who are currently penalised, certainly from Sticky in front, potentially from Adam Foran in front of him as well, and Chuck helmet bouncing around in that Mercedes. We'll be hoping to get through and past Sticky on the road and start on his target here of getting 2 or 3 places ahead. School Bus Russ says Floyd went onto the soft tyres. Let's just confirm that one. Fantastic. I love to see it. He's got it's going to be a challenge to be on those soft tyres for Floyd Pink, but that will be interesting. As so is Moist now on the soft tyres as well, but Moist is 28.8 seconds away from Speedy Spud in 12th. Where did Moist disappear to in this race? It just, nothing has worked out for him so far. Here is Chuck Norris though with DRS down the inside of Sticky, and that was a purple sector for Chuck Norris as well. And he goes into 7th position, which is a net, what is that actually going to end up being? That is going to be a net 5th at the moment. His teammate, Triple Bay has a 9-second penalty. Leon has a 9-second penalty, but that's a little bit out of range of Chuck Norris right now. Sticky is going to try and close in and retake that position. He tucks in back into the racing line there for a wider entry. Chuck Norris had to cover slightly the middle line towards the corner. So Jayden's gap is 5.3 seconds. That has disappeared fast. So Ricky is eating into that gap. Jayden's in the pits. Jayden pits again. I was not expecting to see that. So Ricky Maru retakes the lead on lap 20 with the fastest lap of 1:23.699. Jayden in the pits. That leaves Ricky Maru and ARL back in 1st and 2nd position. So Jayden didn't even fancy trying to get those tyres to a finish. Surely now he's put soft tyres on, has he, to a finish here? Let's check that one out. No, Jayden on a fresh set of mediums. Even he doesn't fancy those soft tyres at the end of this race. That was a big surprise for me. As ARL now picks up a penalty, I'm going to have to keep the penalties on screen. It's okay for him, but it kind of stops him from bidding for the win here today. But a 2nd position will be fantastic. Leon behind him is only 1.1 seconds away on the road, but add 9 seconds to that. Jayden could still finish in 3rd here by catching Leon, or certainly being within those 9 seconds of Leon. So just to recap, Ricky Maru, Jayden, Chuck Norris and Floyd, the only drivers without racing track limit or racing penalties on the car. A new fastest lap from Moist down there in 13th place on those new soft tyres on his first flying lap on the new soft tyres. So he's hoping to profit from others' misfortune here, but he's still a hefty chunk of time away from the points. ARL into that 2nd place. We've got Leon with the DRS going for a move down the inside, completing that move down the inside, but ARL, and he picks, sorry, I thought he was picking that penalty. It's Atsu who now picks up a penalty, and Triple Bay is dropping down the order. What's happened to Triple Bay? He's pitting. Is Triple Bay off the hard tyres? That is a big surprise to me. It's no front wing going on or anything. He just fancies a run on the soft tyres, but gives up track position for that privilege. Sticky is close to Chuck Norris on the road at very least. As Floyd Pink now picks up a penalty, we have 3 drivers remaining who have kept the car between the white lines tonight. That is crazy. But this Qatar circuit really invites the drivers to push hard. And push those track limits, because the lack of natural barriers, natural time losses on the exits of the corners particularly. Moist up to 11th then, Atsu having just pitted, so Moist takes 11th place off Atsu. Spud is down in 13th. Moist is on the cusp of a single solitary point, although if he does of course get into the top 10, his fastest lap will stand and he'll get an extra point. Marco, 3-second penalty now. Another one for him. He's up to 18 seconds. So I was praising Marco for being on race pace, but it is at the expense of track limit penalties that are being applied. 6.7 seconds is the gap at the front. Ricky Maru on his own right now with ARL right behind Leon. Doesn't really need to do anything fancy, but will be keeping a close eye on that gap behind to Jaden, who is certainly greedy for more than a third position once all the penalties have been paid for tonight. Jaden will be disappointed, I think, to finish beneath second with his strategy, his soft starting strategy. Soft, medium has been his option here today. Moist has picked up another penalty. I am bowled over by what is happening with Moist tonight. It's as if we've got a different driver in the cockpit. I'm sure he wouldn't be doing that with his championship so close to being claimed, but that is very, very unusual to see him. Maybe he just had no practice time this week to get confident in the car and the circuit, and it certainly cost him dearly today. I'm still waiting to see if ARL does challenge Leon on the road, but it would have to be a clear move using the DRS. I think ARL is a bit too wise to go for a 50-50 move on a driver with a penalty in front of him, or more penalties in front of him. It was Sticky coming out of the final corner, waiting for that DRS beep to take effect. DRS is actually quite a long way out of the final corner, and the Mercedes of Chuck Norris is clipping. So that is all that Sticky needed. He puts himself on the outside, which becomes the inside, of course, for the next corner. But, wow, masterful from Chuck Norris there, as Triple Bay picks up another penalty. We still only have we still have at most 3 drivers without a track limit penalty today. And Chuck Norris handled that one very well indeed. Took the inside line, claimed a favourable line through turn 1, and managed to hold the position. He was slow coming out of that corner though. The hairpin was not kind to Chuck Norris. ARL still in third position on the road. Will comfortably take that. We've got 6.5 laps for the leader before they will see the checkered flag. Waiting then for the DRS for Sticky as Ricky Maru starts the 24th lap of 29. He's been impressive tonight, has Ricky. Not had to do a lot of racing with other drivers wheel to wheel today, but his race pace has been very, very strong. Held on, kept the faith, trusted the process, starting on the hard tyres. Here is Sticky with a massive overspeed to the outside before the braking zone for turn 1, and that should be enough now to repel a retaliatory move from Chuck Norris. This time Sticky makes his way through, but how often do we see drivers make an overtake and then immediately make a mistake? So he'll just be cognizant of that for a moment. Jaden is just 6.2 seconds away from the podium. Well, make that 3 seconds away from the podium once the penalty has taken effect. So ARL, I think, needs to start thinking about making an overtake on Leon, just so that he has a comfort barrier to Jaden, who is catching now. But Jaden's tyres should be going off. Let's just check in those tyre ages. Jaden, well, no, he fitted new mediums, so he is sprinting these last 2 stints on mediums. He's pushing hard, and his mediums are actually younger than ARL's. So ARL will be just thinking about that gap, watching it come down, trying to stall that progress of Jaden, and maybe go for a move here. Comes out of the corner Doesn't quite make it this time into turn 1 against Leon, but is within DRS. And that is where the main intrigue tonight is coming, is Jayden versus ARL here. ARL with a 3-second penalty, so Leon could effectively back up ARL into Jayden inadvertently, or they could race each other to that point by slowing each other down. ARL just hasn't really got the traction coming out of the final corner to make the best use of the corner. I did wonder, though, whether I just saw Leon clipping, and I did. Leon has run out of battery. ARL will see that in the middle sector here of the circuit and consider then using the battery that's available to him to make the overtake down into turn 1 and make use of E and DRS down down the start-finish straight, I should say. The gap, though, behind ARL now 5 seconds, so just over 2 seconds is his safety barrier, and with 4 laps to go, as Ricky in the distance in front goes ahead, but it does look like Leon has good drive out of the corner. Got about, I don't know, just over a third of ERS remaining on ARL's car, it seems, if I'm reading his steering wheel correctly. But he just can't seem to get the gap, so he's got to monitor that gap behind him to hold on. Chuck Norris is right behind Sticky again. These drivers enjoying a race-long battle in these equal performance cars, of course. Don't let the paint on the cars fool you. These are essentially racing a spec series here. Sticky going for the inside line into turn 2, but Chuck Norris sweeps around the outside, reclaims that position. It's a little bit academic because of the penalties on Sticky's car, but Sticky's still quite happy to make a race of this one. The gap to ARL and Jayden now, in real terms, dropping to below 2 seconds with 3.5 laps to go. Atsu has got a 5-second penalty speeding in the pit lane. Is that coming up to a bonsai entry for a retirement? Yes, indeed. That's a shame. Atsu featured strongly earlier on, but just couldn't hold on through the rest of the race to bring this one to a finish. Here is ARL then, coming through at 3/4 of a second away from the McLaren. So saving his battery, he can still see the flashing red light on the car in front of him. The safety gap is now 1.4 seconds for ARL behind to Jayden, thanks to the 3-second penalty he has got on the car. And AJ is saving fuel, it looks like. He's just revealed to us. He said, why did he have 1 lap less fuel in the car? So that's why he's not spending the ERS deployment. That's why he's lifting and coasting. Let's ride with him. Let's see how that feels on the car to try and save a lap of fuel, as he underfueled for some reason, and it sounds like that was not a deliberate decision to underfuel. Sometimes drivers will underfuel, relying on a safety car. It's a dangerous game, though. So he is trying to save enough fuel to have to battle at the end of the race. Now the gap, 1 second, just under 1 second, essentially, once his penalty has been applied to Jayden. So it could be that ARL is trying to hold off Jayden here. It may be that he has to settle for third if he has got a penalty on the car. Leon has 12 seconds of penalties in front of ARL. That's got to be frustrating for the Haas driver to see the driver in front only staying ahead by virtue of breaking the track limit rules. So ARL slow out of the final corner, presumably upshifting quickly, using the DRS now, but a little bit of lifting and coasting into turn 1. You could just hear that on the car. Ricky's lead, 2.4 seconds, essentially, plus 12 to Leon, plus 3 here to ARL, and 0.8 of a second once the penalty has been applied. The one thing that ARL has got in his favour is he's not yet giving up DRS, and we're on the penultimate lap of the race. Sticky's got by Chuck Norris. Those two are still fighting. Sticky down the inside, Chuck Norris on the outside into turn 2, and he's got a faster line through the corner. They'll loop into the traction zone of turn 3, into turn 4, and Chuck Norris back ahead again. Fantastic side-by-side racing between these two. I'm sure enjoying it, as Sticky goes down the inside. Spudder's retired. Spudder's retired on the circuit, no less, at the exit of the final corner. That is highly unusual position to retire. Ricky's pace is dropping off as he's protecting those tyres and he's trying to protect his lead here. Feeling and hearing every problem on the car. I just got there. You can see it was a traction spin. There's bits of Red Bull on the inside exit at the final corner. So Ricky Maru starts the final lap of the race now. ARL's gap behind him, 0.4 of a second, and he's trying to make the move to the outside is ARL. As he runs to the outside of the circuit of turn 1, he doesn't quite manage to complete the move. The gap is now down to 0.6 effectively to Jaden. There's so much work to do for ARL, who is for some reason ghosting here. And I think he's entered low fuel mode, has he? He's going incredibly slow. What is happening to ARL? That looks like he's just run off the circuit. Very, very unusual there for ARL. That gives Jaden effectively second position here. I'd love to know what's happened to ARL. AJ in the chat, as it looks like Ricky Maru is treading water on these old medium tyres now to try and get this to a finish. He can't afford a track limit penalty. Leon is pushing hard here to try and get in front on the road and defend as far as possible those 12 seconds that he's got. Just a couple of corners left for Ricky to go. And he will take a fantastic win here, Ricky. If he can just complete this final lap, one more corner, he'll stay ahead of Leon. Ricky Maru will come out of the final corner then in Qatar and win. Round 8 of our second season goes by way of Ricky Maru. Leon will take second on the road, but Jaden will complete a 1-2 in reverse order from qualifying for the Alfa Romeo. Brilliant driving there. Ricky's had an eventful start with us here at the International Racing League. Leon will come through. Great points for McLaren in the end. I don't know how they've done this, but third and fourth on the road. Chuck Norris just gets ahead of Sticky coming out of the final corner. I mean, he'll finish way ahead of him anyway. Floyd Pink with 6th place. That's great for Ferrari. They really needed the points. And Sticky down to 7th. ARL, low fuel, was off the circuit, picked up a 10-second penalty through. Marco, though, comes home in 9th. And Moist, I don't know what to say. I am absolutely astonished. Moist will get the fastest lap. He will get 2 points for it. He'll get the fastest lap and the final point score. Crazy stuff. AJ, you've said I hate this game. Tell me what happened on the final lap. Why were you off circuit? Why were you ghosted? And what happened to your fuel? Floyd Pink, for a crowd favourite there, will pick up the driver of the day performance. Fantastic stuff as we'll take you through the final standings. But what a night for Alfa Romeo. They worked incredibly hard to produce a different strategy. They actually didn't spend a lot of time fighting each other on track. They did it on the timing sheets against the stopwatch. And Ricky Maru picks up the win. And I'm really pleased for him, because actually he came into the league thanks to watching the stream and being a subscriber of this channel. And he came into the league, I think, round 3 or 4. And he's done a fantastic job here tonight in Qatar. It's Ricky for Alfa Romeo Sauber Kick Audi in first position on a 42-minute race, with Jaden in second place, and both those drivers will take a big step forward in the standings. Leonard and Foran, I don't know how they managed to get those McLarens up. AJ saying he moved out of the way for faster runners on low fuel, so he should get the 10-second penalty removed. Adam Foran in 4th, Chuck Norris in 5th. School Bus Russ, if you want a fun race to watch, go watch Great Britain earlier in the season. That was absolutely fantastic as well. P5 for Chuck Norris, that's great. So is P6 for Floyd Pink. ARL should finish a bit higher in the end, but Sticky was in 7th, ARL in 8th, Marco 9th, Strike Moist in 10th with a fastest lap, then Triple Bay finished. Speedy Spud did not. Alpine and Mercedes at the back of the grid, but it looks like he said he had -1 lap of fuel for some reason, which was not selected, but he ended up with 1.5 laps extra after fuel saving through the race. Oh, it is absolutely heartbreaking, but a great performance nonetheless. Hopefully, though, a better finishing position for ARL, who put up a fantastic fight. But tonight belonged to Ricky Maru and Alfa Romeo. This has been Webbo, as you know, from the channel. Please leave a like and a subscription if you can. Share the video if you enjoyed it, or clip your favourite moment. And we will see you next week for round 9 of the championship. We may be about to crown Moist as the new season 2 champion as well, back-to-back champion. I will update you once we get there. But for now, thanks for watching. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to Speedy Spud for hosting, and we will catch you on the next race day.